Hello and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we've got a review for Speed Monster, the iconic coaster at Tooth just outside Oslo. Now this is an Intamin launch coaster, opened in 2006 and has a really rare Norwegian knot. Funny enough, being in Norway makes a bit of sense, but as I say, that is like a massive figure point of the ride. The actual entrance to the park, the escalators you go through it, which is a really cool sort of feature and design, looks really good and interacts really well, builds excitement. I sadly only got to experience it once in the middle sort of row, as it did sadly break down while I was there, unfortunately. But it has a punchy but not extreme launch. The Norwegian one is a great element. It kind of mixes inversions and sort of like airtime and such, and hang time. Really fun sort of design. And then you have a high speed turn, an airtime hill, and I can't help but feel the airtime hill would be much better, kind of like reverse, because you actually have a huge, to get to the airtime hill you actually rise up quite a considerable distance. If anything, you use the train definitely to your disadvantage. What would almost work really nice if it almost had like it was like almost a double up, for example, for it would potentially work really well. But yeah, just felt you do get airtime, but the restraint system does kind of hinder a little bit. We'll get to that a little bit later. You have this really decent airtime moment, and then you have like a pretty much an off-axis sort of turn, and then another, and before you know it, you're turning into the station. And it's not necessarily a short ride, but it definitely could do with a bit more. Because you have quite a bit of space. Obviously going down the mountain, you have a bit of space around the front entrance as well. I just kind of feel they could have made it slightly longer. Whether or not that had just then been filler would have obviously open to debate, but kind of just feel that something else could have happened. It doesn't have to be much, but you could have fit like another element or two into that sort of like area. And in fairness, it was running two trains, dispatching them fairly quickly. Again, did have a lack of people working the ride. I think again there were only two, which was a very common theme for the park. But pretty much the only real major issue I kind of have for it is the really old school sort of Intamin sort of like restraint system. Like you tend to have those in quite a few older coasters and stuff like that. And it's just one of those ones where they have a really uncomfortable seat, like they press down on you, and even though you do get airtime and stuff like that, then you just wish it was one of the newer generation ones where you have just a really nice free flow in that bar, really loose, really fun, really freeing. You can really enjoy the ride, and I do wonder whether or not it's a sort of park improvement where they could get new trains for this. Because it's an iconic ride, it's a really iconic ride for the park, and I just think it's the sort of one where it's been open a pretty long time. I think new trains would really freshen up. I do actually think Tooth as a park could have that sort of large kind of park improvement sort of project where they redo the sort of track on their wooden roller coaster, that add trains to this, just do other little park improvements and stuff like that, and suddenly the park becomes much better. It's already a really good park, really good, but I just feel this could be better. As a sort of final score, it's a bit of a weird one. I do think it's like a 78 sort of ranking out of 100. It's generally good, enjoyable. I would have liked to have got maybe another ride or two on it, but sadly, it did break down. It didn't really have anything particularly other than the trains, and even then they're passable, but just could be better. But yeah, not the worst. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.